Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode of Spiritual Bloom, where we bloom within our consciousness. With your twin flame guide and spiritual guide, Neha. In today's episode, we will be talking about dark night of the soul in a spiritual awakening and also in a twin flame journey. So, let's begin. Have you ever felt like your world suddenly collapsed? Like everything you believed about love, life, and yourself started breaking apart? If you are on a twin flame journey or in any kind of spiritual journey, this phase is often called the dark night of the soul. And while it may feel painful, confusing, and lonely, it is actually one of the most powerful transformations you will ever experience. The dark night of the soul is not a punishment, it is a spiritual awakening. In the twin flame journey, when two souls mirror each other, they don't just reflect love, they also reflect their wounds, fears, insecurities, and unhealed trauma, like I told you the other day. Since both the souls mirror each other, they just don't show the beautiful face. Just like when we look at the mirror, we see our beautiful face. But the mirror also shows us the scars that we have. In the same way, your counterpart will show you your scars, your fears, and your wounds. And when these shadows surface, the soul is forced to face them. So this is when the dark night begins. Here, let me tell you that in my journey, I faced the dark night of the soul twice or thrice. Let me tell you how. When my awakening process started, I was not into any kind of twin flame journey. My normal spiritual awakening, which we call, that started in 2020, and I went into dark night of the soul in 2021, and it lasted for almost 2 years, that is 2021 beginning to 2022 ending. And that dark phase was extremely painful. I didn't know that I was a twin. I just knew that I am in some kind of spiritual awakening and the divine is trying to teach me something. It was extremely cold, painful, and dark. I had lost the hope of surviving, of living. I thought everything has ended for me and there's no way out. I also felt like giving up on my life. But then I don't know what kind of strength, what kind of energy made me went through those 2 years, and I spent those 2 years without doing anything in the sense, no employment, no job, no career. I was just stuck in a toxic family dynamic, and I really had no idea how to come out of it. Slowly, after 2 years, gradually things started getting better for me, but again after few months I discovered that I'm in a twin journey. Once I entered the twin journey, after the bubble phase, separation took place. It was hard, but the dark night of the soul for me, the first experience itself was so painful that when I came into the twin journey and I understood that I am in a twin journey, after that the dark night of the soul or the separation phase felt less painful. Since I had already survived dark night of the soul alone in a spiritual awakening. That's why I say never focus in a topic or understanding of any kind of topic in a twin flame journey, just sticking to the twin flame journey, because everybody's journey is different, like mine. Many people, they go through dark night of the soul, after they come into a twin journey, and from twin journey only their awakening starts. But in my case it was not like that. First I had to go through spiritual awakening. I didn't even know what twin flame journey is. For 3 years I was in a spiritual journey, not twin flame journey. And in that spiritual journey, the dark night of the soul is extremely painful compared to the dark night of the soul in a twin flame journey. So the people, if there is anybody around here who has gone through such situation, like who has gone through spiritual awakening first and gone through the dark night of the soul, for them the dark night of the soul in a twin flame journey, I will not say it will be easy, but it won't be very difficult either. Because a thing which you have done it alone, you have survived alone, that becomes easier later when you realize that you are in a twin flame journey and you have to go through the dark night of the soul or separation. So many people describe this as feeling lost in darkness, like the universe has taken everything familiar away. But there is a deeper truth to this. Actually, the dark night of the soul is the death of the old self. Suddenly you'll be living, you'll be happy, you'll be doing things, and you'll realize that you have come into a darkness, and that darkness changes your life forever. You as a person, you change, your personality changes, your mindset changes, and you are no longer the old person you were once upon a time. And that is what happened with me also. Since the 2020 the pandemic hit, and after the COVID, things changed for me. Mentally, physically, emotionally, I was no longer that person. And gradually, when I understood that I am stepping into a spiritual journey, especially the dark night of the soul taught me a lot of things. It taught me patience. It taught me sometimes in life you need to stop for months, for years, and nothing is in your control. Until and unless the divine doesn't teach you what you are supposed to learn, you can never proceed. No matter how educated you are, no matter how rich you are, everybody has to go through the dark night of the soul. And that is the time when you leave your old self behind, because you have to step into your new self. And to step into your new self, it is very important to go within and understand your inner self. So your ego, your illusion, your fears, your attachment to control all begins to dissolve, so your true self can emerge. In the twin flame journey, the dark night of the soul oftenly comes during separation. When the person who awakened your soul suddenly feels distant or unreachable, the pain can be overwhelming. So when your counterpart avoids you after the bubble phase, that is when most of the twins, they complain that the dark night of the soul has begun for them. And depending on your karma, it's going to last. It might be for months or for a year, depending on your karma. But that separation is necessary and not meant to destroy you. It is meant to awaken you. So my awakening already took place during the spiritual dark night of the soul. So I was already awakened. So this separation, or after I came to know that I was a twin, the separation was necessary. I just knew that for the betterment of both, though it was painful because it was not like the ordinary connections. So this is the moment where the universe asks you to stop searching outside, and you have to start healing inside. All your wounds, all your childhood trauma, everything that has been bothering you and you have been suppressing it for years, it comes to the surface, and one by one you have to heal them. So during this phase, you may feel called to reflect onto your past, release old patterns, and rediscover who you truly are beyond the relationship. It is a journey inward. So many people, they try to escape the dark night by chasing answers, chasing their twin, or trying to force reunion. But the divine will keep you separate, or you have to go through the dark night until and unless your divine timing has not come, or until and unless you do not work on yourself or heal your old patterns and your karmas. But instead of chasing, in such situations, instead of chasing, the real transformation only happens when you surrender. So you have to learn how to surrender. Because no matter how much you chase, at one point you'll get tired and you will surrender. And that is when you start getting answers from the divine, from the universe. So when you stop resisting the pain and allow yourself to go through it, because something extraordinary happens after the darkness. If you have survived the darkness, if you understand things, if you heal yourself, after the darkness, you rediscover yourself and you no longer start chasing the journey. Clarity begins to appear and you start reconnecting with your inner strength, your purpose, and your authentic self. So you realize that the twin flame journey was never about the other person. It was about your spiritual evolution. Because if you evolve, then only your twin, your counterpart, will also evolve. But if you are stuck, the counterpart will also remain stuck. So like I told you, you lead, the divine feminine leads the journey. So if you realize that it was for your evolution, you will also lead your counterpart, and both of you will achieve inner union. But if you remain stuck and you don't want to face your dark night of the soul, that is going to stop your evolution, and not just you, even your counterpart will be struggling. Because as I told you, you both are mirror souls. So the dark night of the soul breaks you open, so your soul can rebuild itself stronger, wiser, and more aligned with who you truly are. And when the darkness lifts, you don't just return to who you were before, you become entirely new. Your personality shifts, your mentality shifts. You as a person, you are no longer the old person that you were once upon a time. And you will feel proud that you survived such dark night. You become more conscious, more peaceful, and more powerful. Like I told you, the more you ascend, you become more peaceful. You don't feel like fighting. You don't feel like investing energy unnecessarily. You are quiet. Quiet not because you are weak, quiet because you are aware. Always notice this. People who are aware are always quiet, not because they are dumb, they have less knowledge, or they are weak. They are quiet because they know they are sensible people. They have ascended. They know that wasting energy in this situation is not worth it. So they keep quiet. So they become more conscious. So if you are currently walking through this phase, please remember that the darkness is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your awakening. You need to trust the process. You need to trust your soul. And most importantly, trust that the light is already on its way. Like we all say, remember the light at the end of the tunnel? I have a very deep imagination. As a human, whenever I read books or anybody tells me a story, I always create an imagination inside my head. Because especially when I read a book, because that imagination helps me to remember the entire story of that book. Because memorizing is something which I'm very bad at. So during the dark night of the soul, gradually I understood that the dark night of the soul came. Then I also need to make my inner child happy. So just imagine, my imagination during that time was, I was standing towards the starting of the tunnel, where there is little bit of light visible and city lights could be visible. In between there was a tunnel and the railway track, and on the other side my inner child, she was waiting for me. Whenever I used to feel sad and think that I'm going to do something in my life, that I can't bear this pain anymore, I always used to close my eyes. Tears used to drop down from my eyes. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. And as to feel that, as to call her from the other side, from where the city lights are visible. It's not that visible, but it's like little twinkling stars. It's like a hope. And as to show her my hand, that come, we will be going towards the city. The tunnel has the light. We are going towards that side very soon. As to show her my hand from one side, and she's on the other side towards the darkness. She used to just stare at me and not smile also, nothing, no reaction. But gradually, when I started healing, I started ascending, she came closer. That was my imagination. She came closer, and one day she held my hand. So when she held my hand, it's like she knew that I was healed. She knew that she feels safe with me, and she no longer has to stand in that darkness. She knows that I have healed all the old patterns. That's why she came, she held my hand, and I told her that we are walking towards the city, towards the light, where there will be no more darkness in our life anymore. Even if it comes, we are going to fight it together and not alone. So that was the kind of satisfaction, or you can say advice, I give to my inner child. At first she was though in my imagination or my meditation she came as a very emotionless face, where she was standing towards the tunnel, towards the darkness, and I was facing the city lights. But as soon as I ascended, whenever I used to meditate or I used to think about that imagination, slowly she held my hands and she started walking towards the city where there was light. So my dear friends, if today there is darkness, tomorrow there's going to be a light. You only need strength to move forward in life. Nothing is permanent. If pain is not permanent, happiness is also not permanent. Everything has its own timing. But this dark days, dark night comes to teach you something. And once you have mastered it, I'm telling you, nothing in this lifetime can shake you. Nothing. No person, no situation, no circumstances can ever make you feel down, low, or sad. That is the kind of mental strength you gain, emotionally, mentally, once you have mastered the dark night of the soul. So I hope you like this episode on the dark night of the soul. If it really resonated with your heart, please like, share and subscribe. And for any kind of personal guidance, you can email or WhatsApp me. My contact details are given in the description box and even in the video during the beginning and the ending of the video. So thank you for listening to me. I'll see you again in the next episode.